Hello and welcome everyone, this is Kalebovich and today I would like to talk to you about Marvel Snap. Now for those of you who don't know what the game is, it's a relatively new game that came out into open beta several months ago on Steam and on mobile. It is a neat little card game where you have a deck of 12 cards, which are characters, lesser and greater heroes and villains from the Marvel Universe. And you're using those cards, you're playing those characters into 3 different locations. And by the end of the game, which is usually on turn 6, in order to win, you have to control at least 2 out of the 3 locations. Sounds simple? Well, it is. And it isn't, because it gets quite more complex once you get to know the cards, and the abilities, and the interactions, and reading the opponents. Let's dive right in and see some of the cards in the game. So here you can see the game interface and a card collection. And right now, as you can see, there are tons and tons of cards in the game. Some of them have different visual variants, but I'm not going to get into them right now. So what does a card do? Let's get a random card here. It is Okoye. And yes, every card has an energy cost ranging from 0 to 9, but mostly 1 to 6. Every card has its power value and usually an ability, not counting the amazing piece of art and the logo for the character. Now, cost is relatively simple. Power is the value that you add to the locations where you're playing the character, and in order to win a location, your power has to exceed the opponent's power. Simple, it usually is. When it comes to the abilities, there are several main types of abilities in this game. There are the unreveal abilities, which usually say unreveal, add a random card to your location. In this example of Agent 13, unreveal means this ability triggers once, and on the turn when you play the card, something happens once. That's it. Next up, we have ongoing abilities. These abilities are active all the time while the card is in play. For example, for Mr. Fantastic, ongoing adjacent locations have +2 power, which means if you play this in the central location, both the left and the right also get a bonus while this is in play. No ability also counts as an ability, and some of these have literally no ability, just a flavored text, but some cards do reference that. Some cards make you discard other cards, for example, unreveal, discard a card from your hand, or gets triggered by discards, for example, ongoing +2 power for each time you discarded a card this game. Move allows your characters, or makes the opponent's character move between locations. For example, Nightcrawler, you can move this once per game, or Vision, you can move this each turn, or Heimdall, on reveal, move your other cards one location to the left. This allows for some really interesting and strategic gameplay when it comes to deploying your characters. And last but not least, we have Destroy. These are cards that do something when they are destroyed. For example, when Nova is destroyed, give your cards +1 power. Destroy your cards, for example, Deathlock, or your opponent's cards, for example, Shang-Chi. Or just get triggered when something is destroyed. For example, Death costs 1 less for each card destroyed this game. Now, when it comes to a game of Marvel Snap, you are playing against someone else somewhere in the world. And you start the game with 3 cards in hand. On your first turn, you gain 1 energy, which allows you to play cards. Once again, the left upper side of the card is the cost of the card. And every turn you gain 1 energy, so it's a progressing resource type of a game, similar to that of Hearthstone. And on every round, you draw 1 card. So you're starting the game technically with 4 cards, and you still have 8 to draw. On the first turn, the first leftmost location is revealed. Right now, I cannot play anything because the costs exceed 1. On the second turn, the second location is revealed, and on the third location. And On every turn, you can spend your energy to play a card into any of these 3 locations, whether it's revealed or unrevealed. And then, for example, if this has an unreveal effect, once I click end turn, then the opponent, I will see what the opponent has played and where, and all those cards will be revealed, all the effects will be applied, and the power for the controllers of the locations will grow or decrease. And thus, the game continues up until turn 6. The stakes of the game are 1 cosmic cube. Every game, both players can snap, like I did right now, to increase the stakes of a game, to multiply it by 2. If I do it, and if the opponent does it, then that means the stakes of the game equal 4. On the last turn of the game, if the game lasts that long, because you can retreat before that, the stakes are doubled once again. So you can play for 1, 2, 4, or 8 cosmic cubes. Also, if you are not really satisfied with what you've drawn because there is no technical mulligan in this game, or for example, the opponent has played some amazing combinations of cards and you're not drawing what you want, or there's a random effect, for example, the X mention, where on turn 3 add 1 random card here for each player, then you might want to, well, take the fight to maybe another day. Because the option to retreat allows you to just take your losses that are here right now. Because remember, on turn 6, the stakes are doubled. So here, the opponent has control of 2 locations. I have a, well, commanding control of the 3rd location. And it doesn't seem like I will be winning here. So I can just retreat and let the opponent have those 2 cubes. But I'll try my luck just for the purpose of this video by doing some random things, such as playing Hell Cow without ability over here, or some other combinations. For example, these 2 cards over here. And apparently I was able to win the game by controlling the middle and the right location. For the victory, I gain the 4 cubes, and I also gained some boosters for one of the cards that was in my deck that I will talk about in a moment. When you start your adventure with Marvel Snap, you don't have all the cards available to you right now at the start. For that, you have to keep playing the game to unlock more cards. You start with some starter cards in the starter deck, and while you get through the tutorial, you unlock some of the basic cards in some of the starter cards in a specific order up till level 14, up to Odin. Then, on level 18, the so-called pool 1 of cards starts. Pool 1 goes from levels 18 to 214, and every 4 collection levels, you unlock a card. Those are cards from a specific pool, hence the name Pool 1, and that you are unlocking. So, for example, if the first one I've unlocked is Cable, but for some other player it might be Bishop. Matchmaking in Marvel Snap is such that you are playing against opponents who are in the same pool of cards as you. So if you're starting the game, you will not be paired against players who have unlocked all the cards. Don't worry; those will be people at a similar level to you, at a similar collection level to you. Once you are in Pool 1, you will get paired against people who are also in Pool 1 and who are unlocking the same cards, albeit in a slightly different order. Once you get higher and higher and you unlock all these cards, at level 222 starts Pool 2 of the cards, which is slightly larger, and you have to gain 8 collection levels instead of 4 to get a new card. And these are similar to Pool 1, so if you are in Pool 2, you are paired against other people in Pool 2. then you have to gain 12 levels to gain a new card, and this goes all the way up to 474, so up to Shang-Chi. And then, starting at 486, starts the so-called Pool 3. And here, first you are getting some cards in general, but then starts after a moment, starts something that is called Collector's Caches, and in even higher levels, Collector's Reserves. These are mystery boxes which might contain some currency or some cards that you have to unlock. And once you start in Pool 3, you are paired against anyone who is also in Pool 3 and might have all the cards in the game already, or just some of them. Now, as an example of what you can find in a reserve box, and I've reserved this specifically for this video, let us unlock something that is over here, that is indeed 100 collector's tokens. This is one of the currencies in the game. Now, as far as currencies of the game go, there are several basic ones. You have your credits in the upper left corner, you have your gold, which is a slightly more premium currency, and you have boosters for cards. When it comes to credits, you are using them to upgrade your cards, which I will talk in a moment. When it comes to gold, you can use it to unlock variants of cards. These cards are technically the same cards as the ones you already have in your collection, or some of them. These just have a different piece of art. So technically you don't have to do that, especially if you are a free-to-play player. But for example, if you are a huge fan of a character or another, or just think that a piece of art is amazing, like this Ironheart, you might just want to spend the gold to get those. When it comes to boosters, now this is also explained in the tutorial, but that is the main way for you to gain collection levels. Every time you play a game of Marvel Snap, you gain one booster per round, per turn of the game you have played, so that's usually 6, unless someone retreated beforehand. And these are added to one of the cards that are in your deck. For example, if I played with this deck, the boosters are going to get added to one of these cards. Now, once you gain a specific amount of boosters, a specific number of boosters, like you might have seen for the Beast in the game, the demo game I've just played, you can upgrade the card from common to uncommon, then later to rare, epic, legendary, ultra, and infinity. And for every upgrade, you need a number of boosters for the specific card, of credits, general, and you are gaining a number of collection levels and a visual upgrade to the card. Once you unlock a card, the card is the same as if it had some additional visual effects or an alt art or anything like that. And once you gain your collection levels, you are unlocking some rewards such as more credits, more boosters, or more collector's reserves. For example, this is an alternate artwork for Warpath, a Luchador variant. And once you get several of those, you can see them in your collection. And in the case of Warpath, you have, for example, the base card variant ongoing and the stats are exactly the same as this Weapon X variant I've unlocked some time ago, and as the Luchador variant that I might even upgrade right now because I have some boosters for that card. And it goes on and on, so you keep playing the game to gain boosters for the cards, to unlock more rewards, to gain more credits or boosters, and unlock even more cards and variants and avatars and titles. Now, you do gain credits and gold by completing missions. Right now, I don't have any missions saved up, but every 8 hours you get 2 more missions where you have to do some specific things like play 2-cost cards or draw cards or at the end of the game win a lane by controlling it with just 1 card or by controlling it with 4 cards. And also there are some missions for the Season Pass. Now the Season Pass in this game is, well, every month you can purchase a Season Pass, which is around $15-ish from what I remember. but it might be different depending on the country you reside in and the currency exchange, etc., etc. So every month you get one new card that is only available at that time to people who have purchased the season pass. It is not available for free, but and some of the rewards that you can see here that you gain through the season pass are available for everyone. Those are titled free. Like here, you can get some boosters, you can get some credits, you can get some more boosters, you can get a new title. We're technically not Tarzan, but the other ones like this cool new card back, etc., and well, the main Zabu card for this month are exclusive for the people who pay for the season pass. This card is going to be available for the other people who are free-to-players later, like a month or several months later in the cycle of the game. And that's it. That's those are the basic things you might want to know about Marvel Snap. For me, the game is very enjoyable. It is fast, it is accessible, it is honestly very free-to-play friendly if you don't want to have everything at once. I mean, you can get everything by grinding and playing through the game after several months, but if you're a free-to-play player, well, you have to wait for that. The game has very high variance because, well, it is a card game, so we are drawing different cards. There are different locations, which might be beneficial for you, beneficial for the opponent, locations that might increase some stats of some cards, decrease some stats of the cards, and make it easier or more difficult for you to play cards into that location that have a lot of different special abilities, limitations, etc., etc. But you know what? If things don't go your way, you can always retreat, usually just losing one cosmic cube, and then play another game, like instantly, because the matchmaking is super fast in this game. And after several more minutes, you can win back 4 more cosmic cubes, or even 8, if you're very lucky. So this is seriously a really great game. I was not expecting such a good game when I started playing this. But yes, I have kept playing it for several months now, I believe. And you might see me playing more of it on Twitch and some more videos about it on YouTube, where I will be most likely doing some deck techs, some game highlights, and maybe some other things like decks for favorite locations and stuff like that. But for now, this is going to be it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, if you have, click on subscribe and enjoy your games. Kalibovich out.